Congratulations! You have the most innovative deer call to ever hit the industry in your possession. John Kennedy has spent many years trying to replicate a sound he heard nearly 20 years ago. And finally, he has mastered the replication of what has been named the breeding bellow of a hot doe. The breeding bellow from a hot doe is the most powerful vocalization made each breeding season. It's a sound that is only heard at the perfect time, exactly when a doe is ready to breed. The Dirty Little Doe by Kennedy Game Calls replicates that sound to a T. Unlike other estrus calls that say, "Here I am, come and chase me," the breeding bellow says, "Here I am and I'm ready to breed, come and get it." It's really like a dinner bell sounding off to a group of workers that haven't eaten a meal in a week. We've already had luck in Canada, the northern Midwest, the southern Midwest, the South, the Southeast. We've even had luck out west. It does work everywhere. The Dirty Little Doe is a tough piece of equipment. It's made of rubberized material that'll hold up for years. Check out this control valve. It bends so it doesn't break. Now that you have the most useful deer call you've ever purchased, we're going to give you a little rundown on how to use it, when to use it, and a few different scenarios and calling situations to keep in mind. This call is amazing. It sounds similar to a general grunt, but it's not. When preparing to call, turn the control knob so that it's pointing upwards against the flow of the tube so that it's in this position. Start to blow into the call and turn the control knob downward and release air into the chamber, changing the sound so that it sounds like this. It's very easy and should ultimately sound like ooh-ha. Remember, this sound means come and get me, I'm ready, and it will drive those big old bucks insane. Believe it or not, sometimes you actually need to call a doe in that's got a buck chasing or hoping that she'll drag that buck right by you for a shot. If you see a shooter buck chasing a doe, you can get very loud and aggressive with your calling. The doe that's being chased certainly knows the sound that your call can make, and if you can get her to hear it and she's not ready, she will recognize that sound and think one of her girlfriends is ready. Once she hears you calling, she will run your way and drag that buck right by you. During this time, you need to not be shy. Remember that deer are chasing in crunchy, dry leaves, and that makes it hard for them to hear anything. So don't be shy with your call. You will not spook them. At this point, they're so wound up that they are not thinking like they would be when they're sneaking around. The rut is here, or almost here, and they are all crazy. When you see a buck that's walking at a distance, you need to try to get his attention and you need to be aggressive. If the leaves are crunchy and you've tried repeatedly but feel that that buck has not heard you yet, just get ready and wait for him to stop so he can hear you. Hit the call and get his attention. Most likely you will see his head snap back in your direction. Give him one more moderately loud call. 9 times out of 10 he will come, and then it's up to you to get ready for the shot. Believe it or not, there will be times when you're able to call a buck into range but not get a shot. Most of the time it's due to branches in your way or a bad shot angle. John Kennedy has perfected the patience of calling a buck in, and if you feel you're in a bad position for a shot due to branches or bad shot angle, don't panic. Simply let the buck walk by, allow him to get out of your immediate bubble, then you can start calling again. Get that buck to snap his head around, give him another call, and he will almost always come back through and hopefully give you a shot. I've seen this sequence happen up to 4 times on one buck that we were able to finally get an arrow into, and now he's hanging on my wall. Blind calling with any call can be the most challenging technique in my book. It's sometimes hard when you're all nestled into your stand being very quiet after you were able to sneak in undetected. When you are calling blind, you have to make sure you are loud and aggressive. The urge to blind call will come as you have more successful encounters using the Dirty Little Doe and gain experience and confidence. They have to be in range to hear it, so don't feel like you are scaring anything. If there's a buck in range, you will usually get a look at him. Most hunters that use the Dirty Little Doe start off calling to deer that they see off in the distance. As they gain experience, they feel more comfortable blind calling and have more success. Kennedy was smart when developing this call. He put timing marks inside each and every call. Every now and then it's smart to take a look at those timing marks and make sure your patent pending reed retention D-ring is right where it should be. If it's off a bit, simply slide it back in place between the lines. The Dirty Little Doe is made right here in the USA, and every call is hand inspected by the owner of the company. Now that's a serious personal touch. Cleaning is simple. Simply blow the call backwards and that will blow out any moisture. I'd recommend that you do this every day you use the call at the end of your hunt. That will ensure you have the proper sound each and every time you hunt. You can also pull the call apart and wipe the reed area clean of moisture if you see any. Other than that, there's really no major maintenance you need to do to ensure your call will work well every time you head into the field.
Buck. Oh yeah, it's definitely a buck. Got really dark horns and he's only about 15 inches wide, but he goes up. But he's down over there. We're not going to wait too long. We're going to go get him. Yes. And this is definitely a beautiful buck. You can tell by the size of the body that he's a big old deer. He's got really good mass, especially for where we live up here in the UP. We have some really severe winters, and this is very typical of a deer to not have a giant spread, have a lot of mass, pretty good tines, and be very typical like this guy here. Actually his beam's almost touching the middle here. We're gonna get the tag on this guy and we're gonna get him out of the woods and we're gonna do a little celebrating tonight.
And that's Dirty Little Doe 101. I hope that you found this information helpful. You really do have the most powerful deer call ever invented in your possession now. And in no time, you're gonna be calling like an expert and having great success. And don't be afraid to pull this instructional DVD out from time to time to make sure you're on the right track. You can do it in your home, you can do it in your car on the way to a hunt, to make sure that you're on the right track. Remember, this call creates specific vocalizations to be used during the late pre-rut and rut phases of a hunt, and practice will give you all the confidence you need when the time arrives. You can visit our website at kennedygamecalls.com and check us out on Facebook, where you'll find all kinds of helpful hints, tips, and videos to help you enjoy more success this season. Thanks for purchasing a Kennedy Game Call. We truly appreciate your business. Good luck hunting this season.